All right, now we're up to the point in the draft where we've got guys who could be in the second round. Maybe they go to the third round. I'm wearing Vancouver. Now, Vancouver does not have a first round draft pick this year. They don't have a second round draft pick this year. And yet, I'm saying, you know what? According to scouts, Justin Sourdif, whose name kind of sounds like sort of, Justin Sourdif, center or right winger, depending on the game and on how the scouts see him. 5'11", 165 pounds, may end up falling to the Canucks. Now, the interesting thing is, he's ranked number 44 on Hockey Prospect. He's ranked 23rd on Central Scouting North America, number 52 on Elite Prospects, number 48 on Bob McKenzie's list. But the scouts that I see quoted keep saying this is this year's faller, probably. This could be the guy who falls. So why not? Why not Vancouver? So he plays for the Vancouver Giants, which is not too far from here. And this is the other reason I'm wearing a Canucks jersey. I would like to see, and I've been wanting this for a while, the Vancouver Canucks pick a player from the Vancouver Giants. I think that'd be nice. So, Vancouver Giants last year, 64 games, 23 goals, 23 assists, 46 points. Coming into this year, there was some expectation, and he failed to meet the expectations. 57 games, 26 goals, 28 assists, 54 points. Almost a point a game. But in his draft year, he was expected to take that leap to that next level that scouts don't seem to think that he took. So, again, his strength, speed, shooting accuracy, passing, there were a lot of things that were similar. Aggression and very similar numbers. But not of that same level as what we would see with the first rounders. And so his strengths are not as strong as they are for the guys who are, projected to go in the first round or very early in the second round. He's good at deking around defenders. He's very good at fake outs. He's very good at shifting his feet and being able to go around guys. He's very good at that. Good skater. Notice I said good. And the hands are good as well. So there's a lot to work with there. There's an offensive toolbox that absolutely can be worked with and it can be improved. But his no-look passes can be perilous. And this was described in Hockey Prospects Black Book, that his no-look passes can be perilous. But we've seen that in the NHL, where a guy will make a no-look pass, and as a fan, you're watching going, where was that going? What was the plan there? And one of those things that we can have this discussion at some point about whether or not this detracts from a player. I'm torn on it. The idea that after whistles, if he's cross-checked or if he's thrown down to the ice, he just kind of just turns around and skates away. And so what that comes across as is that he's passive, or he's easy to push around, or he doesn't have that fight back in him. And so that's something that a scout sees that, and they're going to say he could use a higher compete level. He could be a little bit more intense. He could fight back a little bit more. So it's not about just like throwing punches. It's about, turning to the other guy and letting him know in no uncertain terms he can't cross-check him and get away with it. So, again, you don't have to fight, but we've all seen those scrums after the whistle, and from what's described, it sounds like he's the guy who's skating away from those scrums, where his teammates may come in. And of course, the worst case scenario is that you see a guy get thrown to the ice, or I've seen this in other sports where a guy may get thrown down and his teammates look and go, whatever. We've all seen, and I know, how long ago was that we saw the goaltender who got punched, or the player got punched by the goalie in the handshake line, and none of his teammates even seemed to react. So that's an issue right there where you look and go, that guy's probably not popular with his teammates. But again, does that come from the guy, or does that come from, well, he just doesn't defend himself, so I don't know. So again, that's one of those things that may color the opinions of scouts with him that may end up changing before he reaches the National Hockey League. He does need more power in his skating for the NHL. So while his skating is good, it could use a little more power in it because he needs to be able to get to those open spaces a little faster. And so it's about creating separation from defenders. He does need to work on that a bit. And the consistency and the decision making are a work in progress, again, according to scouts. And so, again, once you get into the second/third round, you get guys who there's a reason that they're not higher up, but there may very well be a scout of a team that says, you know what, Yeah, he's got some issues, but I was watching a game between Vancouver and Kamloops. He had this great play. He had this great night against, say, Kelowna, whoever, right? And so there may be a scout out there who's looking at him and saying this kid is capable of doing it. Now, the word from the scouts, one says that in terms of where he'd take him in the draft, he says not too early, but I take him in the third or fourth round. He's got a bit of an undeserved bad rap this year. So, and again, this is kind of how this thing works. And when we look back at drafts, how does that guy get drafted there? This is kind of how it works. Scouts just get in their mind what they're looking for in a player, and they go, well, this doesn't necessarily work. And so a guy drops. And then we see that guy in the NHL 5 years later, and he may still have some consistency issues. He may still not have that top end skating, but he has all the other tools necessary to make a National Hockey League team. So that's how the steals happen. Another scout says, I think he's a guy that you want to be a power guy and play with some grit, but I don't often see that. Now, he gets penalty minutes. He had almost a penalty minute per game over this year and last year with the Giants. So he does get penalty minutes. He does, and again, whether those are bad penalties or good penalties, we'll see what happens when he's drafted and you would think moves on to the minor leagues at some point. And it'd be interesting to see how he does, I would think, coming back to Vancouver next season for his post-draft year. But he could be one of those guys who slides. And there's already that idea that, hey, this is a guy who might slide into the third round who's supposed to be drafted in the second. So we'll see. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. And I know there are a lot of Vancouver Giants fans that will have seen him play. And let me know what you think, where he ends up and whether or not you think he ends up being an NHL player. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.